Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Tennessee's got the last game of the regular season coming up tomorrow against Vanderbilt, almost a 4-touchdown favorite. We're going to be covering that live right here on the Talkin VAWLS Network, but I want to take a little break and talk some recruiting because we are heading into recruiting season. We got all kinds of fun stuff planned for you guys this offseason. Film breakdowns, live film breakdowns, recruiting coverage, live commitments, all kinds of fun stuff. And if you're not really into recruiting, guess what? Now's the time to jump in. First and foremost, Tennessee's got to finish off the class of 2024. Right now, sitting at 11th. You know, looking at the first couple of years, Josh Heupel was at Tennessee. He was brought in late, hired in January, kind of missed that first cycle, but still did a good job closing that class. You move into 2023, you were able to sign the number one player in the country in Nico Iamaleava. Again, continued to trend upwards. Now in 2024, we got to crack the top 10. You got to get inside the top 10. That NCAA investigation is gone. It is a thing of the past, and Tennessee is looking to do that. They're looking to close on a guy like Jordan Seaton, five-star offensive tackle. He was in town for the Georgia game. He likes this coaching staff. Good relationships. Josh Heupel, very involved in his recruitment. Can they close on Jordan Seaton? They're trying to also flip Elias Williams, a four-star defensive lineman currently committed to Missouri. They got a couple of tight end targets, and look, they got a couple of JUCO guys as well. But what I want to talk about today, I want to get you guys prepared for the class of 2025. That's what we're going to be moving into in January, in February, as we start to move into that next cycle. And you can see right now, Tennessee has 4 kids committed in that class of 25. Some guys with some potential. Shamar Arnu is a very good defensive back. All these guys listed as 3-star prospects, but guess what? Tennessee has some interest in some legitimate dudes, some 5-star prospects, elite-level prospects. We're in town for the Georgia game. We're going to preview some of those. We're going to take a look at some of the top targets in the class of 25 and get you guys familiar with them. But as always, do me a favor and smash the thumbs up just below this video. It is quick, free, and easy. It helps this channel, and I would greatly appreciate it. Also, if you're new to the Talkin VAWLS Network, welcome. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We're not media. We don't talk at you here. We talk with you. This channel is for the fans, by the fans. If you like what we do, make sure you subscribe. Click that bell for notifications. You're not going to miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. Tomorrow, an hour before kickoff, we'll be doing our fan call-in tailgate show, and then also we will be live immediately following the game. So tune in for that. Let's jump into it. Got a couple of big-time prospects here that I want to take a look at. Again, get you guys ready for the class of 2025, and it starts with the quarterback. We have seen this year in 2023 what happens when you don't have elite quarterback play in this Josh Heupel offense. Obviously, we know we've got the 5-star number one player in the country from last cycle, Nico Iamaleava, about to take over for this football program. You roll into the class of 2024. You got a commitment early from Jake Merklinger, 4-star quarterback. He's a top 150 guy. He is a talented quarterback. He is a competitor. But then you move into the class of 25. You've got George McIntyre, 5-star quarterback. And more importantly, you can see there the number one player in the state of Tennessee. You know, you go back to early in this cycle, you had George McIntyre, you had Deuce Knight off to Notre Dame. George McIntyre kind of becomes the focal point, and we were talking in the live stream earlier this morning, where do you go if you miss on George McIntyre? Do you check down to Madden Iamaleava? You talk to a lot of national media guys. You can see there the On3 recruiting prediction machine. They say Alabama is way out front, but if you listen to guys like Austin Price, Matt Ray over at VolQuest, Tennessee very much in this thing. He is working towards a decision in January or February. He was in town for the Georgia game. A lot of people worry about Tennessee losing that game. Georgia's response to that was, everybody loses to Georgia. I'm not really worried about that. He's more worried about the relationships and this scheme and what he can do playing the quarterback position under Josh Heupel. Supposed to be visiting LSU this weekend, and then he's going to shut things down and work towards that decision that is, again, coming in January or February. But George McIntyre is the quarterback that you need in this class of 2025. Now, what do you need? You need quarterback play. You need guys to get after the quarterback, but you also need guys to protect the quarterback, and one of the best ones in the country in the class of 25 is 5-star offensive tackle David Sanders. Now, some of you question Glenn Ellerbe, what he's done at Tennessee. I think he's done a great job developing players. You got Darnell Wright as a top 10 draft pick, but then you look at the class of 24 and what he was able to add starting on the interior with William Satterwhite, 4-star offensive guard, Max Anderson, also 4-star interior offensive lineman, and you had Gage Ginther committed, and he's a 3-star prospect, in-state kid, he's out of Colorado, number one player out of the state of Colorado. A lot of people feel that he's a little underrated, and Gage Yenter could be a guy that comes on and contributes for this football team moving forward. But then Glenn Ellerbe goes out and gets 4-star offensive tackle Bennett Warren, big-time prospect, one of the top 15 offensive tackles in the country, and now you're looking to close with Jordan Seaton. So you are building. Right now you look at the depth in the offensive line room, it's down. We've seen that, right? We've seen that when Cooper Mays went down. And now you're seeing John Campbell, Gerald Mincy, when they go down. We don't have the depth, but if you're stacking recruiting classes, we've seen Rodney Garner do it from day one. When he came back to Tennessee, he's been able to stack. We struggled. We missed some on the offensive line, but now we are seeing Tennessee really start to lock down some of these offensive line prospects. And when you move forward to 2024, one of the best in the country is David Sanders. You can see there 6'5.5", 250 pounds out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Number one player out of North Carolina. Number one offensive tackle in the country. Top 3 prospect according to the On3 industry rankings. You go look at the scouting report on David Sanders, athletic offensive tackle prospect, extremely high ceiling, giving measurables and movement patterns over 6'5", equipped with arms that stretch over 36 inches. On the lighter side now, but has plenty of time to add mass and has already posted impressive markers in the weight room for a youngster. Can power clean 335, very nimble for someone with such long limbs, as he can quickly set up for battle and refortify if needed. Goes on to say, might own a wiry frame now, but has a surprisingly strong punch, understands how to find leverage before unlocking his hips and trying to displace pass rushers with explosive lower half. Carved out a starting role as a 9th grader before freshman campaign was derailed by an injury. However, rebounded in a big way as a sophomore and anchored the left side for Providence Day program that won its first state title in 10 years. Must keep progressing, continue to fill out, but should be viewed as one of the top protectors in the 2025 cycle. Likely going to need some time to get adjusted to speed of big-time college football, but has the skill set to emerge as a multi-year starter at left tackle for a top contender. Again, David Sanders in town for the Georgia game. Impressed by Tennessee. Loves the visit. I think some of these guys, some of these elite guys, see an opportunity to come in and contribute earlier. He did tell VolQuest in an interview that as far as communication goes, Tennessee is doing better than anybody else recruiting him when it comes to communication. David Sanders, big-time prospect, will continue to keep an eye on him. Another offensive lineman, Josh Petty, listed as a 4-star prospect, 6'4", 265 out of Georgia. He's listed as a 4-star. I think ultimately he has the potential to develop into a 5-star. You can see there, number 3 ranked offensive tackle in the country, a top 25 prospect overall. Again, this is another big-time guy, high-level offensive tackle prospect. This is from Gabe Brooks, 247 Sports. Says size and length are unverified, but looks the part on the hoof. Relatively lean with ample frame space for adding mass. Full-time two-way snaps that impress on both sides of the ball. Says he's quicker off the ball on offense than defense, but flashes surprising linear closing speed in pursuit. Georgia 2A state champion wrestler at 285 as a sophomore. You guys know me. I love these offensive linemen that also come from the wrestling room, because wrestling uses, that leverage, and you add that with technique, and I think Glenn Ellerbe's a guy that can develop talent. Says wrestling prowess translates into body control and hand-to-hand combat strength. Can get punchier, but plays angry and finishes blocks. Mean streak is obvious. Motivated drive blocker who also climbs to the second level with relative ease. Very young for the 2025 cycle. Naturally a high center of gravity, but cognizant of leverage, firing off and engaging defenders. Need more consistent measure of pass pro ability, but functional athleticism suggests ample potential. Now again, another guy that was in town. Visited in April, also came back in May for 865 Live. He was in town for the Georgia game. On3 recruiting prediction machine has Tennessee as the leader. Now, here's the beautiful thing. We always talk about these kids growing up in-state, then they go off elsewhere. Josh Petty, kid out of Georgia, grew up a Tennessee fan. Here is a quote from him. Growing up as a Tennessee fan and getting that offer from the Vols was crazy. I'm not going to lie. I remember where I was and everything about it. I remember every word of the conversation. I remember thinking this is crazy to get an offer from my dream school growing up. As I got further into my recruitment, I knew I had to work past that and look at each school and know this is a business decision, but earning that offer was special for me. So Josh Petty, in-state kid. Again, I think ultimately he has the potential to end up being a 5-star. You're a top You're 21st in the country overall. You can look down through there. On 3 has him 12th, 247 Sports 14th. Rivals.com has him down at 151, but a big-time prospect at offensive tackle who, again, I'm just throwing some names at you, rattling these off. These are very realistic targets for Tennessee in this class of 2025. One last guy I want to take a look at in this video. We're going to continue to bring you guys more information on this class of 25. If you want more, jump into the comment section, say, Boogie, we need more of these videos so we can get to know who these guys are in the class of 25. But another wide receiver, 5-star wide receiver, Caleb Cunningham, 6'3", 185 out of the state of Mississippi. Now, the interesting thing here, again, he was in town for the Georgia game. Love the atmosphere. Very realistic shot here at Caleb Cunningham. Good relationship with George McIntyre. So as we watch George McIntyre's recruitment start to wind down, and quarterbacks always come off the board early. And again, McIntyre looking to make that decision in January or February. And then some of these big-time prospects you will see come off the board throughout the summer. So where does George McIntyre end up? How much does that impact the recruitment of Caleb Cunningham? Also, big fan of Kelsey Pope. Great relationship with his coaching staff. The scouting report on him is unverified size and athleticism, but clearly possesses physical traits and excellent functional athleticism on tape. Gabe Brooks says that I know less about him than other wideouts in the class, but definitely aware that he's a dynamic basketball player with big production on the hardwood, and that translates body control and bounce to ball-winning mismatch effectiveness at wideout. Says he is unstoppable in red zone situations. Does anybody want to pause right there and remind me of where we struggled in 2023 in the red zone? That would be correct. Unstoppable in red zone situations, strong-handed in traffic, runs hard in run-after-catch situations, and bowls his way through arm tackles. Long striding gait that creates necessity for build-up speed, natural route sense, and spatial awareness. Question the top-end athlete from speed and lateral perspectives relative to the others in the class, though athletic profile is admittedly excellent with the hoops context. Projects as a high major impact player with a long-term ceiling that could lead to an NFL draft consideration. Again, 5-star wide receiver, 11th ranked player in the country, 3rd ranked wide receiver in the country, number 1 player out of the state of Mississippi. So again, these are just some of the guys. I'm not going through every one of them. I'm going to continue to bring you videos and break down different guys, take a look at some of the prospects that Tennessee has a legitimate shot at. Again, recapping, George McIntyre, 5-star quarterback, going to come off the board in January or February. Got a couple of elite offensive tackles, 2 of the top 3 offensive tackles in the country in David Sanders. Very impressed with Tennessee. Josh Petty grew up a Tennessee fan, and he is the number 3 ranked offensive tackle in the class of 25. And then lastly, Caleb Cunningham, still on the screen there, 5-star wide receiver. We'll start to take a look at some of the defensive side of the ball, but again, Tennessee already has 4 commitments in this class of 2025, and all 4 of those commitments are on the defensive side of the ball. 3 are on the defensive. You also got 3-star running back Justin Baker. But that's going to wrap it up for this video. I threw a lot of information out there at you guys. If you want more of this, leave me a comment and let me know. Make sure you do smash the thumbs up on the way out the door. Who's your priority target in the class of 25? Is it that quarterback position? Is it a guy like George McIntyre? Or is it guys on the offensive line to protect that quarterback? I think we're going to see plenty of guys on that defensive line because Coach G is always going to get his. But I want to hear from you guys, so jump into that comment section and let me know. Don't forget to join us live tomorrow, an hour before kickoff, and then also immediately following the game. Go check out the merch, bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. But that is going to do it. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.